know for a fact that librarians love comics. Because when we were running a shop in Iowa, the local library would come and they would have like their budget that they had to fill, or else they would lose their budget, and they would just buy up comics, because that was one of the few areas of the library that had that, what do you call it, the number of checkouts was actually increasing, as opposed to every other part of the library where it was going down because people don't read. So librarians love comic books, and more libraries across the country are really pushing it, including school libraries. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And as art, as comics legitimacy, whatever increases, it becomes easier and easier for library buyers to justify to their budget people that they're going to get comics because people want them. And that's going to be big for the expansion and the growth of the medium, because there's...
And for the diversity.
Yeah, there's maybe 2,000 comic book stores in North America, and there's 16,000 public libraries, and 72,000 school libraries. My wife's a librarian, so I know these numbers. Wow. Yeah. And so that's 90,000 places that people can be finding our stuff. That's significant. When you add to you add in the digital thing, and suddenly everybody can read them, and who knows, maybe the lid's finally going to pop off.
I discovered that a big part of my core audience are people that steal books out of libraries. So it's hard to.
You mean borrow?
It's hard to gauge them as a readership, but I know they're out there.
This little ripped out metal strip.
Oh. That's a stolen joke from Gary's family. He said his core audience are people that stole the cable, so it's hard to judge Larry Sanders' ratings.
What a great show.
Yeah. What are your views on the digital comics?
I like them. I want, I'm not sure about this new Vault thing. I'm a little leery of that. Sorry.
I think it's great because, I mean, as Steve just mentioned, 90,000 outlets to sell. Well, with digital, that number goes up considerably. And
every iPad a comic shop.
I'm excited for the language barrier breakthrough. There's going to be a language to digital comics that is more than just scanned pages. That will create a new language of storytelling, and we think about it all the time. We're not sure what it is, but we're sure Jonathan Hickman knows what it is. But we're gonna. That's what I'm most excited about. Of course, that there's more people who have the Marvel app than will ever walk into a store right now. That's fantastic news. But I really am excited about what the app language of a comic will be, and the first great masterpiece of digital comics. You know, and not that there aren't great digital comics, but there's someone who will use this this interface for something we haven't thought of yet. And we tried with motion comics and other things. There's a lot of attempts being made to see what that is, like the boundaries of a comic versus a cartoon versus this versus that. We'll see.
I'd like to experiment with that, Steve.
There's a guy here in town named Patrick Farley who's been doing digital comics since early to mid-90s, really. It's been a long time back with it. And he's the first cartoonist I've run into for whom digital is clearly his native language. He's not translating from paper to computer screen. He thinks of it in terms of screen-keyboard interaction. And he hasn't sunk his teeth into a project, but everything I've seen him do, you can tell that he's feeling the nuts and bolts the way filmmakers were in 1900. And he's working at we're lucky that he's here in town, so we'll be able to watch him crack up in person.
He does sound like the kid from Shine. You're talking about
exactly, yeah. But there really is a separate digital language that people are going to evolve, and there's going to be places where tiny bits of animation are not going to take you out of the story. We're going to make you more immersed in it. There's going to be times when changing the direction of your scrolling is suddenly a big storytelling thing. And we don't even know what the tricks are going to be, but all the stuff that Harvey Kurtzman did for us on paper, somebody's going to be doing for us in digital. Hoping it's Brian.
I was hoping it was something.
Shit.
I'm busy.
That's amazing.
All right.
Specifically for Brian, do you ever have any impact on the trajectory of spin-offs from the major events you do, specifically Secret Warriors and Hickman? Like where you're like, it's supposed to end up here eventually, but we're just
Oh, well,
like,
well, number one, I really try to treat other creators like I would like to be treated, which is I would like no one to write my story for me or anything like that. Particularly the spin-offs of the whatchamacallits, the event books, particularly. We'll put out like the editor and I, who has always been Tom Greenberg, will put together a document that says, here come the Skrulls, this is what they're going to do. If you like this, come on board. If you don't have any, if this bothers the crap out of you, just keep writing your book, man. Don't, no one's making you do this. Please, only if you want. A lot of people jump in because they want to keep their book alive, and you could save, you know, sometimes that little event bump can keep a book going for 6 more months. So they'll jump in, and then I will bow out. I will not tell a writer what to write or anything like that. But with Secret Warriors, that was a little different. We'd invented Secret Warriors in Mighty Avengers, and it was a book I wanted to write, but that wasn't going to happen that year, and they did want the book to exist, and they also knew I wanted Jonathan in. I was singing the praises of Jonathan in a big way, and so they go, "What if we give you Jonathan?" Well, the book. So it was the idea, the characters, and the overall concept. The hook of the book, I guess, was mine, but I didn't write that book. Jonathan wrote that book, and I actually didn't kind of realize my name was going to be on it until I saw my name on it, and I felt weird. I've never had my name on a book that I didn't physically type all the words to, so I got my name off as soon as possible because John was killing himself. You should see he comes with these handwritten notebooks, like the 7 notebooks. He's got them all, and he's got a Fantastic Four one and a Nightly News one and everything, and with a guy like that, you just want to stand out of his way and watch him make his graphs and do all that crazy stuff he's going to do. So what was great was, what I love about Jonathan is that he takes the hook, he takes the characters, goes, I have a 27-issue mega story from beginning to end that I'm going to tell. And I remember Quesada said, just finish the 6. Let's see how you do it. Like, he never wrote a mainstream comic book before, and he goes, "I have a vision," and like, which is great. But meanwhile, everyone was so charmed by it that even if the sales were wobbly, they were going to try to get him to his 27. You know what I mean? Because who doesn't want to see what a guy like Jonathan's going to do with 27?
Well, for one, thank you. That's one of my favorite books, actually.
Oh no, hey, great! You should try if you haven't tried Shield. Have you ever read Shield? And Nightly News by Jonathan? They're all fantastic.
Red Mask from Mars as well.
Oh, that's a great one too. All right. Who wants free stuff while you guys are?
Any other questions, guys?
Are we done? Are we done? Okay.
Yeah. So now, if you guys want to come up, just start maybe a rough line. But I know you guys have a lot of stuff you want to get signed. Ask them a few more questions. Also, I don't know if Steve are still doing sketches.
Yep.
Yeah, Steve's doing sketches as well, so you can pass that up.